You're certified, now what? This is really when the challenge begins, figuring out how do I get busy with clients? How do I figure out this whole personal training thing and turn your love for exercise into a viable option for your future in your career? So in this video, we're gonna go through the 3 things, just 3, that you need to focus on doing right now if you wanna get busy as a personal trainer. Step number 1 might seem kind of obvious, but a lot of you guys wait far too long to do this, and that is get experience. And I put get experience because there's a number of ways that this can come about. And some of it, I would be happier if you were doing even before you're certified. But either way, if you haven't done it yet, this is now what we need to do. Get experience putting into action what you've been learning, because the truth is, regardless of whether you went through the NASM certification with a program like ours, or you went through any other certification that's out there, the stuff that you learned in the certification is not going to make you a great trainer, at least in the beginning. Experience is what's going to get you there fastest, and there's a few key ways that you guys can go about doing this. The first one I have on here is shadowing or interning. Now this is one I mentioned. If you can do some things while you're actually getting certified, while you're studying, and not wait, you're going to be ahead of the curve. But if you haven't done it yet, now's the time. This is that opportunity just to come in and learn. And I put on here /internship. Some people get caught up on like, Joe, I need to get an internship. And the plus side of internships can be a formalized process and experience. If you find yourself near or around a facility that has a robust internship, then that means they probably have some processes put in place into how to train people. And if they're a smart facility, which many of them are, they're also looking to use that as a training grounds to bring people into the team. So chances of you finding a good internship, they're there, but I'll also say there are a lot of places out there that offer internships and you just sit at the front desk. So you gotta do a little bit of work on this end and figure that out. And sometimes we overthink how hard it has to be. You'll be surprised by the number of just personal trainers out there in any facility that would love, I say love, for you to come and shadow them, right? There's something cool about someone reaching out to you and saying, hey, I'd love to come shadow your training. I know for me, I had quite a few coaches that I did this with when I first got started, and it's very rare that someone's gonna turn you down, especially if you develop a relationship with them as well. So don't overcomplicate it. Go to a coach and trainer that you know is busy, you feel like you could learn from, and say, hey, can I just shadow you for a couple of sessions? All right, so that's undervalued, under-executed on, but super, super huge and critical. If you just wanna pick up on, like, how does someone work with clients? Like, how does the session flow go? You know, the truth is here as well, doing it with one person is gonna be helpful, but if you really wanna go pro in this, try to find 2 or 3 trainers with different styles and different client types, because the good part about that is you get to start to pick up on, oh wow, like I see what they're doing here, I really like that. That's something I'm gonna emulate once I start working with clients. You might also pick up on some things that don't jive with your training philosophies, your personality. There's something to be learned in all of it. Either way, I think just putting in time up front, if you can do it while you're getting certified, even better, but if not, this might be a great first step for you. Because I know for a lot of you guys, as you're watching this video, you might lack confidence in getting started. You've gotten the certification, but there's still that gap of like, I still don't know what to do. Well, this is that step of figuring out what to do. Figuring out how to take what you were learning and put it into action. So definitely one of those options, shadowing or interning. I also say, and again, let me pause for a second. You don't have to just do one of these. You literally could be doing all 3 at the same time if you're a hustler and you want to get busy fast. The next one would be training friends or family. All right, like maybe you don't have a massive friend group, but chances are you got some family, or at least a couple of people in your world that you could offer some free training, or maybe discounted training. Heck, I'm not even gonna say you don't have to charge for it, but the idea here is you just wanna get reps, because here's the next step: certification, theoretical knowledge. You're now observing some of it in action. You're seeing how the pieces go together, but you're still not the coach here, right? You're still not putting the coach's shoes. This is that next step to start to see yourself as a coach, getting more practice coaching and cueing, which is just gonna be huge, because obviously that's what people are gonna buy into once you start working with paid clients or full paid clients. So either way, now I will say, like your friends and family, they won't be your best clients, right? Especially if it's free. It may not be perfect, but it's good enough. And it's gonna give you the opportunity to start to work on your communication skills. Try to simplify all the things that you know into a digestible format, which is huge. And then last but not least, I put a smiley face here. I'm gonna throw a couple of barely there underlines, because A lot of people are scared to do this. I know that from the conversations I have with a lot of you guys here from the YouTube, those from our Facebook group that have gotten certified, and they're like, Joe, I'm gonna go on and do all these other certifications and then figure out how to apply it. Don't do the other stuff yet. This is the most important step, right? You need to start to get experience putting it into action. You're not going to be a good trainer right away, chances are. That's okay. I wasn't, right? But look at me now, here on YouTube, telling you how to train people. So the path is there, and it just means getting started. And without going on too much of a sidebar, a great place for you guys to start, truthfully, is a big box gym, a corporation, a larger environment. And the reason that is because you're just gonna get repetitions. And if you wanna get good in the beginning, getting experience is about getting reps in, right? It's like getting practice doing free throws. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get. And there's no other place where you're gonna have access to so many people, organizations that have already done the marketing thing for you, which is the hardest part in the beginning, getting clients, and just getting in front of people. So don't be afraid, start at the bottom, plan on doing that for your first 6 to 12 months minimal, just to get busy and gain experience as you guys are getting started. Step 2, get trained. Literally, like, you get training, becoming a client is a massive, massive step, and it's one that a lot of people don't do. But if you think about it, how are you gonna know what it's like to be a client if you've never been one? And the good thing is there's a lot of ways that we can do this, but I think for the coaches who wanna do well quickly, who wanna understand client psychology and programming, how it all fits together, put yourself inside of what I call a client mindset by literally being one. All right, and this can happen in a lot of ways. For some of you guys, maybe you're not in an area of the country or the world that has access to a ton of great coaches and trainers in person. Like, I'm here in South Florida, you walk into every gym and there are great coaches working with people. So your choices are plentiful. Some of you guys may not have that, but chances are you're probably connected to a relatively good coach somewhere out there, even in the online world. So I don't necessarily mean you have to go get in-person training, because financially for some of you guys, you might not be at a place where you can do that. Understandable. But I think even just following someone else's program can be massively beneficial. And if you do a little bit of digging, there are plenty of free programs out there for you to follow. And I think there's a benefit in actually following a program, especially one written by someone else, because it gives you that opportunity to understand, like, what's it gonna be like to be a client? Even if you're not doing just programming, online training, having that program to follow and trying to get into the thought process of, like, why are they putting these things together? And week to week, how are the variables progressing? Even, for example, if you guys don't know anyone specifically out there, get on and follow the Mind Pump podcast and the guys there that have some free programs out there, just to understand, okay, how are they putting these things together? People who've worked with clients for a number of years, because that alone is gonna simplify how you look at programming. Most great coaches do it very simply, and so it's nice to learn from one of them. If you can do it in person with someone and get the tactile coaching, get the hands-on training, then that's even better, right? Because you're gonna get an insight into, like, what's this experience like? Oftentimes you come into the gym when you first start training clients, and we struggle to break things down in simple ways, that communication element of all the things that you know. So I'm telling you, if you can put some of this into play, becoming a client, in person or not, huge. Because what you're doing is you're learning by doing. One area that not just the NASM certification, but most certifications themselves lack on is really understanding how programming looks in real life. You learn things like macro cycles and mesocycles and terms that no one uses on a day-to-day basis with general population, but you don't know, like, okay, what does it look like? Like, if I'm doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday split, like, how do I organize my exercises? How do I progress them slowly over time? And this is the stuff that you're going to learn by doing over a period of time. And just like a client should be committing to 3, 6, 12 months of something, you should commit to the same thing. Don't do a program for any less than 12 weeks, just so you understand what it looks like to stay consistent with something. Because the truth is, many of us as coaches and trainers are also extremely guilty at program hopping around and not making a lot of progress in one thing. And that's obviously not what we want our clients to do either. So I think the learn by doing element of becoming a client in person or online, just following someone else's program, is huge. Again, things that you like, you'll find. Things that you don't like, you'll find, which is awesome. And then the last piece, just you continuing to stay in a client mindset. Even for me, guys, I've been training for a long time, coming up on 2 decades, and every year or so, I get out there and I buy someone's program. I just want to see how things are going, how someone else is talking about these things, how they're putting it together, because it continues to keep me in this client mindset of, like, what really matters most, staying focused on the compound movements, all the physiological things that we know we need to, but in the context of a great training experience. Number 3 is get known. And by get known, I don't mean you have to become a massive social media influencer, because truthfully, that might actually hold many of you back from actually getting clients in the beginning. But I also know from working with a lot of individuals like you, maybe going through a changing career path or new direction through fitness, there's a lot of doubt and fear when you first get started. Like, am I good enough to do this training thing? And maybe fear of letting people know, right? Putting yourself out there is scary. I get it, guys. But I just want you to know that if you want to help people, you have to. You have to put yourself out there. And I'll talk a little bit about social media, but it just also means letting all the people in your world know what you're doing. For the students that are inside of our NASM personal training courses, we actually talk about doing that during the process of getting certified, letting people know, kind of like an insider's view on like, hey, I'm getting certified, this is what I'm getting into. Because you'd be surprised by the number of people that you already have in your world who know you and like you and trust you. The hardest part of getting clients is that piece. It's not the knowledge that you have. It's them actually liking you as a person and feeling like, hey, I want to work with that individual. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Now, I'm going to give you guys a comparison. Maybe you've been around somebody who's selling some sort of supplement, right? Whatever it might be, whether it's Herbalife or anything else. And it's like, oh my gosh, Joe, all they do is talk about this thing. Well, guess what? They probably do well with it. So don't be afraid to be that person. When it comes to getting known, I talk about becoming the guy or the girl, right? Like the guy or the girl. When someone thinks about fitness and training, you know, maybe they're talking to another friend and someone's talking about some struggles they're having with working out. You want to be the person they think of. You want to be the first person they think of. Just like you have a girl or a guy for yard care and for plumbing and for whatever it is, realty. You want to be that person. And you're only going to become that person by putting it out there to everyone in your world that like, this is what I'm doing and I want to help you, or I want to help other people like you. All right, I promise you, if you do it long enough over the long term, it's going to bring you people, bring you clients. But I understand there's a lot of fear. Part of it, I'm going to say, you know what? You got to do a little bit of punching fear in the face. You got to get comfortable with putting yourself out there, because it's truthfully the only way you're going to help people. And it's the only way that you're going to get more and more clients. If you find yourself, like we talked about in the first step, getting experience. If you find yourself in a bigger box gym, more of a corporate chain where you have a large audience, you're gonna have to put yourself out there. You're probably gonna have to go up and talk to people. Now, the good thing about this is it doesn't mean whether we're on social media or we're having conversations at a networking event or you're working out in the gym. It doesn't mean that you need to go up and be like, hey, I'm a personal trainer, would you like to train with me? Right? Because that's probably not gonna work, let's be honest. Like, no one wants to be that car salesman, saleswoman, whatever it is. It's just about building relationships. And over time, they'll know what you do. They're going to ask. And you just wanna be confident in communicating it. I'm a coach and trainer. I help people with their health and fitness journey. If you know any client, you know anybody's looking for whatever, you don't even have to do that. Just be you, add value, be friendly with people. That's gonna go a long way, right? But becoming the guy or the girl, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about getting known without talking about social media, right? Right now, it's 2023. Chances are you guys are probably watching this on YouTube. Social media is pretty big. I'm gonna guess you probably have some social media profiles. Now, you don't have to become an influencer. The goal is not that you're trying to be me and educate people on training. That's not it, right? That's not it. It's just that people know what you do. As simple as, let me give you guys an example. Let's say you guys are on Instagram, all right? Let's say you start to work with a couple of clients. As simple as starting to feature some of your clients on there. Maybe taking a photo or a video of you guys at the end of a workout, or a little video clip of them doing an exercise. Or maybe even they have a question that they ask you and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna make a video or a post about that. That can go a long way. Is it gonna get you clients right away? No, it's not. It's gonna take time. But the other nice thing is that we also live in a world with social media. People like to know who you are even before they meet you. And so I truly believe social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be, TikTok, whatever social media platforms you are on. I'm old, I'm not on TikTok, but you guys get it. It's like a business card. That's how people not only share you, right? And that's the cool thing about posting about your clients over time as well, is it just gives them an opportunity to share you with their people, which is how you guys get more and more referrals over time. But it's also just how people want to know, like, all right, cool, I've heard about this Joe Dre guy. Let me check him out. And they're gonna reach out there, maybe before they reach out to you. And it's not like you have to have so much on there and you've got to have a certain number of followers. Truthfully, I don't think people care about that. I think what they care about is that they get on there and they can easily tell what you do and they connect with you. That's it, right? So I'm not going to go super deep on social media strategy here, but I think in general, part of getting known for some of you guys could be some of this. Asterisks here, don't make that your only thing. It's very easy to put so much time and energy into this, and you're trying to get busy with clients in the gym. And if you're trying to get busy with clients in the gym, probably the best thing you could do is spend time in the gym, right? So don't lose sight of that. You gotta connect with people, especially in larger gyms with bigger memberships. You need to be around, and your goal is just to get known, build relationships with people, connect with people, so that when the time comes, and it will, for them to think about a coach and trainer, you're the first person they think of. There's a lot more that we could unpack, but at least if you guys remember to get experience, get trained, and get known, that's your primary focus right now as you're getting started as a personal trainer. And if you guys got some value out of this video, we want to help reach more people like you. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel, like this video as well, and I hope to see you guys in our next video.